Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
We're live in Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Thanks for watching on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our affiliates across the country. Belgium and Egypt finished in a 1-1 draw. I lost a bet there on Belgium plus 140 live, but both teams to score did come in. And more on the World Cup now as we start the hour by going out to the Progressive guest line. Anthony DeBundo joins the program covering the World Cup for Ringer. Anthony, thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm good. I am enjoying all the draws. It's been very fun. You know, I know that the casual soccer fan who maybe watches every once in a while doesn't love a draw, but the scenes as Cape Verde essentially beat Spain 0-0 today were amazing. Yeah, it really is. So has that been your strategy? Did you do that starting like last Thursday when we had the first couple of matches that day? Because I know Paulie, my co-host here, talked about this in the first hour. How many units are you up betting the draw?
20 units.
Up 20 units so far, betting every match to end in a draw.
Yeah, no, I have not bet the draw in a single match, so I guess I'm not actually profiting off of this potential strategy. But I actually think, as we get later into the group stage, the draws will become less prevalent in this format, especially since the magic number, the 3 points, is so important for advancing. That if you have these teams, 1 point each on the final day or whatnot, that draw is not going to be enough. And I actually think you saw that a little bit in Ivory Coast, Ecuador. Both teams knowing they have Curacao in the group, knowing that, the draw wasn't going to suit them. That game was very open in the final 10, 15 minutes. Neither team seemed to want the draw, and Ivory Coast scored late, but it was a pretty open game.
Excellent point there. Very good. What your takeaway from what we did, how impressive USA was Friday, is that the group has really opened up? It's time to raise the power rating on USA, or was it more of an indictment of Paraguay?
I think it's more of a raise the power rating on the United States. I mean, I was more bullish, I think, than most on this team, and even I was blown away by how easy they made it look. We've watched the United States go through CONCACAF qualifiers and struggle to keep control of matches against island nations and other smaller minnows, teams that are much worse and much less talented than Paraguay. So the ability of them to completely strangle that match was significant. I mean, 23-2 in box touches in the first half in favor of the United States. The counter press when they lost possession of the ball was amazing. The ability from McKennie and Tillman to make those little runs in behind the center backs to get into those wide areas and then create the overloads. It was so awesome. And then, of course, Balogun, I mean, the kind of striker the U.S. has really never had in terms of just pure strikers. So so much encouraging signs for the U.S. This is a very fragile setup, right? They have an injury-prone team. But right now, everybody's healthy. And when that's the case, this is still the most talented group. I think they're very live. And, maybe the biggest takeaway from today, Spain drawing, Belgium drawing, both were overwhelming group favorites. The way the path sets up, if the U.S. does win the group, their most likely round of 16 opponent would be whoever won Belgium's group. And their most likely quarterfinal opponent would be whoever won Spain's group. So instead of maybe Belgium and Spain, now the door just cracks open. Maybe it's not going to be Belgium. Maybe it's not going to be Spain. And all of a sudden you're looking at this draw and you're saying, hey, wait a second. Like there's a world where the draw breaks in favor of the U.S. They don't have to play, two of the top 10 teams in the world, perhaps en route to a potential quarterfinal or even semifinal. So we'll see, right? Spain, Belgium still favored to win their groups, but there's just a crack now, a little crack. And if the U.S. can win this group, they might get a favorable draw.
Well, how nuts do you want to get here? Well, like if it falls correctly for this team, like what are we talking about for a ceiling in your opinion?
It all depends on how the draw breaks. I mean, we watched Croatia, right, make a World Cup final. They didn't take out any world-beating teams until the semi, and that was 2018 when they upset England in extra time, right? So you just want to be in with a chance, and the draws in the past have gotten imbalanced before. I mean, it's not the most shocking thing. We saw, Turkey was in the Euro quarterfinals. I don't think they were a particularly great team at the last tournament 2 summers ago, but they get Austria in the round of 16. They get by them, and then they're leading the Dutch right there and on the verge of the semifinal before the Dutch turn that match around. So if you get a favorable draw, I mean, right now their most likely round of 32 opponent is Bosnia or Canada. They'd be favored there. If all of a sudden it's not Belgium and you get Egypt per se in the round of 16, they'd be favored there. And then if it's not Spain, is it Uruguay? I mean, I don't think they're that much worse than Uruguay. I think they're pretty comparable. So, we'll see how the bracket ends up going. I don't think they can beat Spain, but in one soccer match, the way this team plays in transition, like they're going to be decently live.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We're talking World Cup with Anthony Dabbundo with The Ringer, and he's covering the 2026 World Cup for them. Okay, so you mentioned Uruguay. Your rankings going into this match tonight for the teams, obviously in the World Cup. You have Uruguay 17th overall, Saudi Arabia 39th. Probably not the same version of Saudi that we saw in 2022 knock off Argentina early on in that tournament, and Uruguay is favored by a goal. Do you have a bet on this game or any advice to bet it tonight?
Yeah, I took some under 2.5 at minus 120. Now it has steamed out a good bit today. I wouldn't go past 130. So, shop around, see what's still available because the under's taking some money. What we're seeing in some of these hotter games, and I think you saw it a little bit in Egypt and Belgium, which is pretty hot in Seattle today. So you just see the output go down. The press isn't as intense. The number of shots and goals, and this has been studied. I mean, when games are above 85 degrees Fahrenheit, you don't see the same level of output in the matches. And I think Uruguay, despite their, being, you would think, more acclimated, they're pretty far south in South America, but also they like to play a very frenetic, intense pressing style. That is Bielsa ball at its finest. And honestly, one of the things that's been kind of a question mark about Uruguay's situation coming into this tournament is that some of the players, and Luis Suarez most notably, who's not on this roster, had complained about Bielsa being too intense and requiring too much of them. And so, how far does Bielsa turn the dial up on the intensity of the press? It's a very good defensive team with some questions in how they're going to score goals. And the Saudis, look, they've been through turmoil. I mean, they were so bad under Hervé Renard here toward the recent matches and at the Gold Cup last summer. They fired him. I mean, he had a historic win for them at the World Cup in 2022. Went to go manage the French women, came back, then they fired him. They have a new manager. So we're not really sure. It's a bit of a black box on what Saudi Arabia is going to look like at this World Cup, but we do know they're very lacking in attacking quality. Even that game that they beat Argentina, 2 goals on 3 total shots. I mean, it was not a great attacking performance. So I did take some under here. I just don't trust Uruguay to get margin.
Do you have anything on Iran versus New Zealand? And in your rankings again at ringer.com, Iran 33rd overall, New Zealand 45th.
Yeah, I mean, Iran's a tough team here. I mean, the tough team to handicap because of the travel situation, right? They're traveling in day of game, so they're at a disadvantage there. Now, the market has taken a liking to Iran.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to agree with it. I mean, they opened around minus 105, which I thought was cheap. Now they're out like minus 125, minus 130. I think that's probably where it should be, so not necessarily an edge for me there. Market also took heavy money into the under. New Zealand's a tough team because we really have zero data on them in competitive matches. They play their games against the other island nations in Oceania. They don't have any competitive matches besides friendlies, and like the maybe the most concerning and weird result we saw out of any in the entire lead up to this World Cup was Haiti beat New Zealand 4-0. And Chris Wood is the main talisman for New Zealand. He's barely played soccer this year. So how fit is he as their striker, as their player that they rely so much on for their attack? I don't know. I agree with them both market moves, and I think now the value is kind of been bet out of Iran if you wanted to bet them early in the week.
Okay. How about on Wednesday? England is minus a half a goal, minus 140 against Croatia. Do you think there's that much separation between those two countries?
It's so funny because England is a team that can be difficult to power rate just because they smush the variance down to dust. I mean, they are such a low event team. And, it's interesting because if you ask any English fan or you ask any, a lot of pundits will say like England's defense, just based purely on the talent and some of the names on the sheet, people are a little bit dubious of what England's defense is. But then you look at their actual kind of like qualifying numbers and what we've seen this team do at every international tournament for 5 years with Southgate and now Tuchel. They are just a defensive juggernaut who gives up nothing at all. And I think that's going to be the kind of the hallmark of this game is England is going to play a lower event match. Croatia, I think, has questions about how they handle teams who can really out-athlete them, but that's not really England's style. I mean, England plays such a low-event match, and they're very slow in how they progress the ball. So I think under 2.5, I took minus 132 in this game. I think under's good there, too. This is a classic 1-1 or 1-0 game where nobody's really happy about it in the English press, but it's going to be more than enough for them to be the group leader come the end of the group. They'll win the group, and then they'll do the classic England thing where they take their chances with a bunch of coin flip games that in the knockouts.
Very good. Anthony, in about a minute left here. So far, let's draw a line through Germany for the sake of this discussion for a second, because they won 7-1 in their opening match. Other than them, which team has been the most impressive in your opinion?
Most impressive is tough. I think relative to expectations, I would go with Morocco. I thought the way that they turned over Brazil, got out in transition, really looked dynamic in attack, was impressive. They almost won it late, settled for that 1-1 draw. They were very impressive. Otherwise, I think Spain is going to be fine. Lamine Yamal didn't play most of the match, neither did Nico Williams. France we haven't seen yet. England we haven't seen yet. Argentina we haven't seen yet. I would downgrade Brazil a decent bit. I would downgrade Belgium for their poor attacking display today, and I would downgrade the Dutch. So really that second and third tier, kind of Morocco, Ivory Coast, two teams that are going to be dangerous in this tournament.
Very good. Follow him on X at Anthony Dabbundo, Dabbundo. Thanks for the time today, Anthony. Enjoy the matches tonight and best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. I think USA has to be in the conversation for the most impressive. Sweden scoring 5 goals.
Yep.
And I would agree. We had the Beyond the Booth on Saturday here at Circa. Great turnout. Thanks to everybody from all over the country showing up for that event. I thought Morocco looked really good against Brazil.
They did. That was a great match. Yes.
I think they're live to go on a deep run again this year.
And some disappointments, too. I mean, the Switzerland draw was just unacceptable. The cutter was begging to get put away, and they couldn't do it.
Talk some baseball up next, and I would like to have any future bet on this team before the season started. The team tied for first was 100-1.
Let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. I've got something for you that almost feels too good to be true. First, credit where credit's due. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already leveling up your betting game. You're riding along with our best bets and top angles. And when there's a good game on, you're getting involved with a few props and alt markets as well. There's one more layer if you really want to step things up, and that's VSiN Pro. I've mentioned it before, but things are only getting better for our pro subscribers. We just rolled out our MLB prop projections, breaking down some of the best edges across strikeouts, hits, home runs, and more. And that's on top of everything else pro subscribers already get, including public betting splits, expert picks, and betting guides across the sports calendar. If you haven't tried it yet, stop sleeping on it. You can get your first month just $9.99 or save big with promo code POD26 on the annual subscription. Hit the link in the description and start cashing in with VSiN Pro. All right, back to the show.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Baseball tonight, no day games, all in the evening. Mike Palm's going to be fun to talk about this on Wednesday because I know that he was on the White Sox early. Their win total was 66.5, as a reminder. I don't have a single future bet on the White Sox. They are currently 38-32. They're tied with Cleveland, first place in the Central. The bad news for the Guardians is Jose Ramirez suffered a fracture in his left hamate bone, placed on the IL. Probably going to be a month the way it looks. The White Sox, I went back and looked today, thanks to sportsodddshistory.com. The White Sox were 100-1 to win the American League Central on December 29th. Check that, December 19th.
Okay.
100-1 to win their division. They were, as the season got closer, the White Sox were 35-1 on February 10th, 30-1 on opening day, and 25-1 still on May 1st. A month and a half ago.
Wow.
And they were off to that great start. Tons of young talent. The crowds were already going crazy there. Not once did I say, I better follow suit here and hop on some of these White Sox futures. Nothing to show for it.
Still room on the bandwagon. The only team with a plus run differential in the division. If they can get that road record straightened out, watch out.
Just took the series from the Dodgers.
Yep, 12 games over 500 at home. The fans have been coming out. The walk-off wins, it's been spectacular what they've done. And Martin leading the way with the pitching. So the bad news with Cleveland, Kansas City's a mess. Detroit all of a sudden playing good ball, get Skubal back. But this would be a wild story if they're able to pull this off. And a great story after they've been bad for so long.
Who else would you look at here? I mean, the odds are up on the screen right now via DraftKings. Guardians are minus 150. The White Sox are plus 230. You said not too late to hop in the bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 230 in the middle of June feels like a pretty decent bet still.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people just keep adding and have been adding on the White Sox ever since like opening day.
Is 80-1 crazy? I mean, the American League's wide open.
I mean, you rank the pecking order in the American League. I'm here.
Uh-huh.
I'm all ears.
Yeah.
You go Yankees 1 by default.
And then the Rays?
And then the Mariners?
Yeah. Mariners will be tough in the playoffs.
I think the Blue Jays are going to turn it around.
Okay.
I think they're going to be pretty feisty here and have a say in things before the season ends. But it's not a long list. So you bet them 80-1 right now to win the World Series or 30-1 to win the American League. That could be a team that easily advances and makes a run into like the divisional series, I guess. And then it's up for grabs.
Yeah. That's like Marlins a great story as well. They are at 500. They are 10-2 in the month of June.
Most wins.
Yeah, that's right. But I like Wheeler tonight in the Phillies. He's been great at home. He's got great numbers on the season. He is, bro, you want to lay the run or go run line, be my guest. They go against Gusto. So great story with the Marlins if they can keep this going. How about the Pirates? They've lost 6 straight skiing starts now.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Either he hasn't been good or he
No run
leaves
support,
when he has
right.
been good. No run support, and the bullpen's terrible.
That's right. Yep.
Gusto's going tonight, by the way, for the Marlins. 9 innings this year. That's it. He allowed 6 runs. Last year, a 5.67 ERA, 1.5 home runs per 9, and more than 3 walks per 9 as well. I mean, the numbers here indicate that it's just a clear edge for Wheeler and the Phillies, but the Marlins have been blazing hot.
Yes. Burns, Reds?
Yeah.
What do you think? Can he keep it going? 4-0 with a 1.73 in his last 7 starts. Cheap price, 7-1 with a 2.14 on the season. Cheap price at home against the Mets tonight on MLB.
Can I ask if this number feels a little fishy to you?
It does.
With Burns and the Reds?
Yes.
Myers is going to go for the Mets coming off the IL, a 4.05 ERA, FIP half a run higher than that, but David Peterson's going to likely piggyback / get the bulk innings. Peterson has a 5.75 ERA. He's walking almost 4 batters per 9. The Mets are 29th in runs per game on the road. And here you have Burns, you mentioned recent. How about full year to date?
Yeah.
2.14 ERA, 10.5 Ks per 9. This number, it feels like it's just so low. I don't, it's stinky to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to bet it, but I have not for that reason.
Okay. You want to bet against the Rockies after they come down after the 23-run explosion yesterday out here against the A's. And it's also a fade, though, of Lorenzen. Number one, that the Rockies won't do much offensively. And Lorenzen, he did have a good start last time out, but 0-6 with an ERA of 9. How bad he's been. Now, you think the Cubs will be able to get to him at home?
Yeah.
Look at his numbers. 2-8 with an ERA of almost 8 for Colorado.
With the Cubs being a 2.15 favorite playing at home, always a little bit tricky with the home team playing on the run line. It's minus 105. I don't know what would be the approach here. Just lay it with them?
That go team total over, too.
Okay.
You were doing against bad pitchers last week. You can do that as well.
How about we fade the A's somehow?
Yeah.
Because this is a weird kind of wonky Malinsky special.
It is Ginn, and he's been good. But you're right. Continue.
So playing here in Las Vegas for the week. Now, those games were 4-2 to the under, but a couple of those produced, 30 runs in that neighborhood or more. Now, Ginn, I think Ginn is in for it maybe a little bit. Allowed 5 runs last week here in the ballpark that tied a season high. Average exit velocity, and Adam Burke had a great breakdown today on vsin.com. I encourage you to read it on a daily basis. Average exit velo was 96 miles an hour. Previous start, 93 plus before that. He left his May 23rd start against the Padres, no hits, but 6 walks when he faced 14 batters. Jones allowed 5 runs in his return on May 29th, but only 2 runs and 7 hits over 9 innings, 2 starts since then. And you can get plus 106 on the. I actually played Jared Jones, his K prop over 4.5. I laid 30 cents here at Circa. Opta AI, high on him. Ballpark Pal has him getting 5 as well. Opta AI has like 6.5 on him. Part of the reason why I laid it, but the A's can strike out quite a bit. Just a weird, no day off here.
Yeah.
You played a 15-14 game a week ago, and then yesterday, 23-9, you got to go pick it up and play tonight back in Sacramento. Maybe this total's too low at 10.5.
I was going to say that too. Yes, I'm on that. Martinez, bad numbers against Muncie career. Should Lauer be this much? He's got bad numbers. Lauer, $1.90 at home. You maybe get involved with the props there with Muncie. And the other one is Buxton's been hot for the Twins.
Oh, he's been blazing hot.
Gore's $1.60. Twins still hanging around with 6-7 games under 500. Last 8 games, Buxton 13 for 29. If you want to do his props tonight, and the total's 8.5.
Okay. How about the Nationals tonight against the Royals?
Still number 1 in runs.
Yes, they are.
This is a real thing.
They're averaging 5.5 runs per game. Again, I think this number is a little stinky here. It's the reason why I haven't played it. They're $1.30. I have Spence going for the Royals. Is that
Correct.
what you're seeing as well?
Yes.
But also, so I don't expect much out of him against this offense. And their bullpen for KC, 27th in baseball, an ERA of 4.88. They are last in runs per game on the road at 3.5. Meanwhile, Alvarez going for the Nationals tonight, a 3.70 ERA, a FIP of 3.39, almost 10 Ks per 9, does not allow a lot of home runs. Man, it's the Nationals and the Reds feel awfully cheap tonight. And the Nats are a team that will not go away. That division somehow, some way is good despite the Mets being awful and the Phillies getting off to that terrible start.
Yeah.
The Nats and the Marlins are a reason why it's good.
How about a Nats White Sox before the season? They both make the playoffs.
When those two teams were talked about, well, the Nats were in the discussion for the worst team in the league.
Yes.
And they're still over. Boy, the year that James Wood is having, Abrams as well. Good ball players there, man. To me, it's, yeah. $1.30 on that team.
Did this past weekend remind you of when Books got nervous and you weren't allowed to parlay Patriots and over in 2007?
Yeah.
Because one big ticket cashed after the crazy 14-13, and then they took all the specials off the boards, and then the next 4 games went under.
Sure. It's kind of...
It's like, yeah, just stick with it.
Right.
I mean, it's
just
not...
Keep posting them. You would have been fine. You would have cleaned up.
That's right. Just a 20-1 hit that one day. But other than that, all the games went under, and then you got the 23-9, whatever it was.
I wonder if anybody martingaled the totals there and got rewarded yesterday.
Oh, I saw the in-play, got the 32.5.
No.
It is just, it's insanity.
Yeah, the martingale system, for those who don't know, is you keep betting the same thing and doubling up until it cashes. Very dangerous. Not recommended. But can you imagine?
Oh, yes. We know someone who, Vegas Dave, gave that out. The Giants were playing the Diamondbacks at home, and it got swept in a 4-game series. Lost like 80 units.
That's right.
Yes.
So it would have been like...
We met that guy, yeah.
After that, the first game against the Brewers last week, if you're like the next day, well, I'm going to come in and bet over 13. You lost. So I'm going to double up the next day and bet over whatever it was. You lost. And then if you stuck with it the entire time and had a gigantic bet yesterday, well, you finally won. 23-9. Oh, people were not happy with the games out here.
Yeah. 14-8 in the fifth. 14-8 in the fifth. That's okay. What do we got?
I think 6 runs combined in the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ballpark that they're building on the Strip is not going to result in the same thing. It's got to be configured a little bit differently. Jeff Sherman on the program next, longtime Vegas odds maker. We'll ask about the betting popularity of the U.S. men's national team, sharp money on the World Cup, and possibly an NBA future bet out of him as well, coming up here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll talk World Cup, U.S. Open, and maybe a future bet to be made in the NBA as well as we go out to the Progressive Guest Line. Longtime Vegas odds maker Jeff Sherman joins the program now. Hey, Jeff, thanks for the time today. How are you?
Doing great. How's it going, guys?
Doing really well. Can you explain to the audience what the betting result was like today for Spain, like the co-favorite to win the World Cup with France? Just a gigantic favorite to end in a draw?
Yeah, they were a $14 favorite on the 3-way price. You know, the spread was 2.5 goals, and we took a lot of public support minus 2.5. And, you know, we didn't have anyone laying $14 straight, but these lines have been up for, 5 months now. And basically Spain on the 3-way to win was tied up in every parlay. It's going to everything for the last few months. So it really took down everything involving the first set of group stage games. Plus we had things, basketball games, hockey games, things like that. So I mean, you're talking a few months worth that went down with one swing.
You're up now 20 units if you bet every match to go to be decided by a draw. Can you tell us how you clean up every time there's a draw?
Yeah, I mean, that's very little that the public looks for that. They like to see the better team win or even take the price on the longer team outright. So you get that, and it mostly knocks down the parlays. But having two of them today, I mean, you couldn't ask for any better position from a booking standpoint.
How ugly was the result on Friday when USA really took it to Paraguay?
Yeah, that's basically the kids have enough to replenish themselves for the rest of the U.S. games throughout the tournament off that one. So they're in really good shape. It was, the largest loss of the tournament so far. And, I think you're going to see a solid handle when they play Australia on Friday based on what, the interest we saw from that game. Is
there a comp? Like, are we going to be blown away by the future liability on USA to win the whole thing?
We have liability. It's not overwhelming like we've got on some other teams. Our larger liability, relatively speaking, is Mexico. When you look at Mexico, U.S., Canada, the host country is Mexico. They won't stop betting Mexico with us. We're at 40-1, but it's six-figure liability on Mexico.
It's that time of year with the NBA, with the offseason heating up. How are you ready to maneuver if there's a Giannis trade and if LeBron to Golden State would do anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, LeBron going to Golden State, it's just a perception standpoint. We have the Warriors at 50-1, and I would move him just because of perception, but I don't think realistically it's going to do too much. But obviously we're waiting for the Giannis news because something's supposed to happen before the draft. So you're looking at the next 10 days, and, you're hearing Boston, you're hearing Miami, facilitation by maybe the Clippers comes out today if Jaylen Brown goes there. So, the one thing is, we have lower limits set on the app for the futures at this time of year. So even if that news comes out and we're adjusting and people are betting, it's nothing that's going to overwhelm us, and especially with Boston at sitting at 11-2. If Giannis went to Boston, that liability wouldn't add up too quickly. So, we're keeping an eye on that, and we'll make adjustments as we see fit.
If the Knicks, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Paul.
If the Knicks lost and Wemby was suspended, what was the number going to be Tuesday night?
Man, I would have had that thing about 7.5 on the Knicks. Yeah, I mean, if Wemby was playing, I thought it would have been Knicks 2.5. So, you take him out and everything that they went through, that would have been a real tough task for him. So that's where I would have started about 7.5.
Make a number on Wemby actually getting suspended after what he did in Game 5.
No, $1 million.
Oh, come on.
Do you think no chance the NBA suspended him?
I don't think there's any chance. They reviewed that one flagrant about him hitting Brunson, and they didn't give him anything when that obviously is a flagrant. And I think at this point in the series, I don't think they would have done it. It's just he means too much for what the league and the direction is going with him. I don't think there's any chance they would have done it.
So you made bets on the Spurs like probably close to a year ago because you were all in on Wemby. You believed in them. You had huge numbers, and they almost got it done. They won the West, obviously. Have you made a bet at this point for next year?
I haven't yet. I'm looking at teams that you can do that can grow and you can work with and put yourself in a position because, I came out well with the Spurs and hedging with the Knicks. And, I had the Knights before the season too when they got Marner and hedged that one out. So even though the teams that I had wagered on didn't win, I did really well because of the positions. So right now I'm looking for that type of wager you can put yourself in on that. The only ones I can come up with right now would be Charlotte at 100-1 and Atlanta at 100-1 from the Eastern Conference perspective, because I think those teams have room to grow. And, we saw the Spurs grow and obviously much more talent than Charlotte does, but you saw some good things out of Charlotte last year. And I know there's talk about them being aggressive, maybe going after Sabonis, adding someone like that. But if they can add a piece and grow with it, I mean, they had some really nice road wins where they beat some good teams by over 20 points. And if they can sustain that and get through some playoff rounds and, which the Eastern Conference overall I still think is weaker, then you can just put yourself in a nice position. So right now I'd be looking at Charlotte or Atlanta in triple digits.
Paul the Money, Paulie and Mitch VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Jeff Sherman, Las Vegas odds maker, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. How about the U.S. Open? And the last time it was here, at Shinnecock, Koepka won at 1 over Take us through the work you've done, and what do you think the winning score could be?
Well, I've got 278.5, which is 1.5 under par right now. And we saw in 2004, Goosen won it at 4 under. So they can get under, and, the players are better now and they evolve over time. So the one thing we have to look for is the wind this week. Thursday's supposed to be really windy. So that can, we might have a tee time advantage because it's supposed to be windier in the afternoon. So when the tee times come out, that's something to pay attention to. But it looks like it should be a windy and challenging week this week. And so right around par, I'm starting out at 1.5 under par, and I'll see what the public's going to do with it. But this is my favorite type of U.S. Open, when you get something like a target like that actually comes into play, and not something that's 9-10 under in the U.S. Open.
Do you have a number as of right now for the first round lowest score?
I'm looking at 68.5, which is 1.5 under par. So if you think someone's going to shoot 2 under or better, then that option's available, just because, like I said, we're supposed to see the worst of the wind, and it's been difficult for these guys. When I know this was quite a while back, but in 1986, Raymond Floyd won it at 1 under par, and the first round leader, there was 170 and 171. So no one broke 69 or better. And if the wind kicks up, that can be in play.
Okay. What do you have for a prop price on yes, no to a hole in one?
I've got no -140, yes +110. And part of that is wind predicated too. It looked like it could have been picked, but the challenge of the wind. So slight favor to the no on this one.
Who do you like this week, and where? Because you've had numbers up for a long time for this event as well. What have you seen in terms of sharp money for the Open?
Well, I've got 5 plays I did myself, and they're all recent, so the numbers aren't too far off. But I played Matt Fitzpatrick at 22-1, Fleetwood at 28. I'm on Russell Henley and Siwoo Kim like I've been on every major this year at 54 and 50, and then I played Victor Hovland yesterday at 80 when he was getting into contention. So those are the guys I'm starting with, but we're starting to see some sharp play show up on Xander Schauffele. He was 20-1, now he's 18-1, and I can see in the matchup market that's starting to take shape and him being respected. So he's a guy I think the sharps will be on.
Okay, let me ask you this. WNBA, you're a big fan of it. What's the path for Olivia Miles, rookie with the Minnesota Lynx, to win the MVP award?
Yeah, I know. I'm down to 20-1 on her. Whoa. And I think the path would be keeping Napheesa Collier out for most of the season, and then them sustaining. If they were to get the 1 seed and she were to miss a majority of the season, and so Olivia Miles leads her, if she comes back sooner, then I think that's going to detract from her chances to win. But if Collier is out for quite a while and she's doing, so impressive what she did against the Aces on Saturday in that fourth quarter where she almost brought them to victory herself. So unbelievable. It feels like she's having a better rookie season than Caitlin Clark had. So it's pretty remarkable.
I agree. It's going to be very difficult to overcome Asia Wilson, obviously, but she's a top 5 player in the league this year already, Jeff.
Yeah, it's crazy with that. Minnesota was able to add her, and Seattle didn't take her in front of her, and Dallas too. So she was sitting there, and she's leading that team. But like you said, when it comes to MVP, Asia Wilson's just in a class by herself. It's just there's so much separation, and she's sitting at -$2 right now.
You can follow Jeff on X. He is at Golf Odds. Thanks so much for the time. Busiest June, best June we can remember. Enjoy it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Flash Sports High Stakes U.S. Open Challenge is live. $500 to enter. Shot at $100,000 guaranteed. Pick 6 golfers, 1 from each of 6 tiers. Your top 5 scores count. Worst golfer gets dropped. Lowest score wins. Multiple entries allowed. Build a few different entries and increase your shot at that 6-figure prize. Use promo code VEASAN. Get a 50% deposit match up to $100. A free Quick Picks entry up to $20. And 100% Quick Picks payout boost on entry up to 20. Splashsports.com, code VEASAN. Got to be 21. Splashsports.com, code VEASAN. Excellent. 500 to get in. Good luck. And I think that 2018, this is when Mickelson swatted his ball and took the 2-stroke penalty. He was so outraged.
I had to make a bet on this player at 30-1. I'll tell you why I did it next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Well, for every bridge jumper in the World Cup, we had that report earlier today that somebody at Polymarket put a huge bet on Spain to win. It was like more than $1 million to win like 80,000. That's a loser. However, there was someone on the site that put 400,000 on Spain not to win.
Oh,
That paid 4.7 million.
get out of here.
That's a cool 4 million to start the day. Oh man.
Oh,
Tip of the cap to that person. Well, clearly their bankroll is gigantic, but wow. Okay.
400,000 on a soccer match.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive. And you feel alive, right?
I wonder if
That's
anybody did
insanity.
that with Germany, though.
Yeah. Well, that one was easy, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes back to when we were on the air 4 years ago. And right off the bat, Messi and Argentina go down to Saudi Arabia. And what happened?
That's right.
So fun, wacky stuff is already happening. So great card tonight in the WNBA. Boy, what a year Plum has had. And it's unfortunate she had that injury where she missed a couple games.
Sure.
It got lost over the weekend. But she had a 40-burger in an overtime win at Phoenix. She's been so good. Now they're making you pay for the assists as well. At DraftKings, she's $1.40 to have 6 dimes, but still reasonable juice, $1.20 at Caesars to score 20 points. Leading the league almost 27 a game.
Mm-hmm.
And with the tempo and how they play high-scoring games, I don't know about the point spread. It's a tough turnaround, and I need to do a better job of monitoring who's on long road trips and such in this league. But I would think I'd come back with this over tonight in a total with how high-scoring and entertaining these Sparks games have been.
By the way, she's also averaging 29 points per game on the road and 8.5 assists as well. Much better numbers on the road than at home. She had 43 and 7 against the Mercury in overtime. So I went back and looked against this team last year, Golden State. She was completely up and down. She played all 40 minutes in the first game of the year. Think about this, Paulie. She had 37 and 6 in a blowout win. Then, in the next meeting, came back, only scored 16, was 6 of 18 in 37 minutes and a 9-point loss. After that, had 24 and 7 in an overtime loss in the Commissioner's Cup on 7 of 20, and they played one more time last year. Plum was 1 for 9 from the floor, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. They lost 72 to 59. Look at the floor compared to the ceiling against the same team last year. Mm-hmm. And that was in reverse order, or that was actually in order from the beginning of the season to the end. So just based on what they were able to do from a season ago, they appeared to pick up on how to play her well.
Well, I throw that out, though, too, because they had Rakia Jackson. And Rakia took a lot of shots as well. But she's just been on fire here in the season she's had, much like Olivia Miles, where it just doesn't matter every game. Mm-hmm. And how about the run Angel Reese is on? She filled it up again the other night.
Had 17 boards again in that game.
And pencil her in for like 15 and 17 every game.
I think, by the way, she's the one player in this league. Well, not the one, but I think that I have confidence she's going to develop an offensive game. She's still young. It looks like she's never been coached on offense ever in her life.
With the shot, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And if she does, too, yeah. Like her ceiling is absolutely Asia Wilson if she can develop offensively.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But Asia's also absolutely remarkable. And they're in action tonight as well in that game against the Wings.
You see points in that one too?
I think you have to, but it's also a very high total. Now you're talking about both teams have to get basically in the 90s again to go over.
Yeah. But the Wings can score, and they've been excellent here during the stretch. And I think this would be another high-scoring game with the Aces. And I know Doug Kazarian loves the card tonight, but I think you can make the case based on the matchups that all these games can be high-scoring, especially Portland and the Lynx and the Aces and the Wings to start the day. We could see, and the Wings have been playing games in the hundreds going back a couple times, and so have the Sparks.
Here's a little trick, too, by the way. Like Shepard has been on a tear this year for the Wings, and she's kind of been a double-double machine. But the books have adjusted, so you're not going to get – I haven't looked for tonight, actually, but it was no longer a plus price on the double-double. So what you can do is you can basically do a same-game parlay of her to score 10 points and to grab 10 rebounds. And as of her last game anyway, that was still playing plus money, and that got the job done again. So here's the bet that I had to. I asked Jeff Sherman about this in the previous segment. I do not expect this to win at all. And I can't even imagine what the biggest number was on Olivia Miles to win the MVP of the league. She probably was unlisted to begin the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she was 66-1 last week. And I thought about it, did not make the bet. I did get in at 30-1 on her to win the MVP, averaging 19 points, 5 boards, 6 assists. She's shooting 54% from the floor, 39% from deep, 92% from the line. She's number 5 overall in the league in overall efficiency. So, again, 30-1, it's going to take an act of God for her to beat out A'ja Wilson. However, I think there are a couple of options here if you follow the path, and that is one, if the book offers a cash out, because 30-1, good chance here that that's going to turn into, 5 or 7-1. Play it like you want to play, do the cash out, or you can maybe sell it like on a place like PropSwap a little bit down the road. And that's why I made the bet at 30-1, because I'm convinced that number is going to be long gone probably by the end of this week.
What a story that would be.
Insane.
It already has been for a rookie to be in this position and come in and dominate like that. And what a gift that she was available, sitting there at number 2.
Could Fudd turn into Darko Milicic?
Yeah, that's possible.
The WNBA version of it?
Yes. Well, at least she plays and at least can knock down a shot from time to time, unlike Darko. Yes. The Beyond the Booth was fantastic.
Great.
Thanks to everyone who came out. There's a lot of great stories to share. You know, it's funny when you can be friends with someone for 20 years and you find something out and you're like, it blows your mind. Those guys, the group of friends, been around each other for 20 years and they didn't know one of them, Wes, had a 52 Mickey Mantle card. Because John Anthony showed up from Sports Connection, the card guy, and they get to talking. He goes, yeah, I got a 1952 Mantle. So like the wheels are in motion. He'll fly someone out, they'll grade it, and they're going to play ball, and thinks they might get a 6 or a 7 for a grade.
Okay.
But who cares?
What is that worth? Did John throw any number out there?
I was looking at 90,000. They say 60, 70,000 going back. I think a 6th grade, something like that. Maybe.
They've been friends for 20 years.
They didn't know he had a 52
had no
Mantle.
idea.
Yeah. It just shows you how popular card collecting can be, and that people, and it's on the upswing now too. Cole gets his steak Pittsburgh rare, charred on the outside, super rare on the inside.
Looks delicious.
Matt just got married from Arizona. The wife said it was okay. He can hang with Mitch and Paulie.
His wedding day was in the morning on Saturday.
How about that?
And then spent the day with us, and the wife was here gambling.
Yes. George Ross, local, but lived in SoCal. And Alexi Lawless showed up in a 45-year-old soccer league one day and just showed, okay, I'll play. How about that?
Yeah.
Imagine that guy would dominate the league. Dan from Tennessee has won his 13-run pool league twice and already won it with the Dodgers earlier this year. Mm-hmm. He referenced a great Warren Sharp tweet where if you watch the World Cup, there's an app where you can follow a specific player and his viewpoint and also what that means for imagine.
Oh, very nice.
Because Warren Sharp said, hello, NFL commissioner.
Right.
Like Goodell. Imagine do that for a backup tight end and that kind of stuff. If I could just monitor the guy I have for a player prop and where he is on the field or what his stats are and where he's at.
I like it.
That's awesome. And it was Bobby from Boston.
Do you want to share the story?
He had me in stitches. Go ahead. This is hilarious.
Oh, well, I don't. Okay.
Well, it goes back to the good old days when we had Dave Malinsky on. Rest in peace, but he loved Malinsky so much, and it was appointment viewing, and it was before we had, I think, our app, and you couldn't go back on it.
Yeah.
So he worked on a train.
Yeah,
and he was in charge of it.
He was a conductor.
Yeah, and every time Malinsky was on, he would say, "Sorry guys, I got issues here."
He would call on the radio.
Can't go.
Oh, looks bad. There's an air system here that I can't control. I don't know what it is. I'm going to need about 20 minutes probably. When we would tease Malinsky's coming up next, he's like, problem with the train. Yeah, we're going to be running late here by about 20 minutes. And he
can't move.
Because you couldn't listen on, once the train starts, the phone has to go away.
Oh, that's
right.
You
can't listen on anything.
Thank you. Can't
so
have
he's
the
like,
phone on.
Oh, my God, Malinsky's coming up. I'm supposed to take off in 3 minutes.
No phone.
Yeah, that's not happening. He has to call ahead. Okay, boys, we got a serious issue here. I can have it probably fixed in about 15 minutes. Then Malinsky would come on. He'd listen the entire time. Okay, we're good to go.
He had to make up reasons why they were delayed.
Yes.
And then one time the boss is like, what's going on? He goes, if anything happens, just back me up at the hearing. It's a Malinsky special. I don't know, guys. I got air system problem. I don't know. The train's jacked up.
Sounds a little squeaky back there. It's running a little bit loose here today.
I think his go-to line was, I got issues right now. Just give me about 5 minutes. I'll be good.
Yeah. Oh.
Back me up at the hearing.
He told me the story. I can't even breathe. I'm like, Paul, I had to come over and knock you on the shoulder. I'm like, get over here this second and you have to hear the story right now. Oh, man, was that good.
Yeah. How about the first date with his wife? He goes, we got problems here, too. She orders the steak well done and calls for the ketchup. He goes, oh, boy.
He looks at the watch. He's like, I got like 40 minutes left. This is one and done. See you later.
He was counting down. He was counting down the time till the date's over. Ketchup and well done off the bat. No chance.
USA winning the World Cup would dwarf this result. Do you concur? Next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.